Good afternoon. I'm going to tell a yogi joke if everybody's in mood for a Sunday joke. You probably won't get this unless you know something about Tibetan Buddhism, but here it goes. I heard it in Himachal Pradesh from a yogi and my teacher, Urgin Dargi, and translated by his son, who was my English student. And they were telling me jokes one night, and here's one of them. So there was this yogi living in a cave in the Himalayas, and he'd been there in that cave outside this village for decades. And all the villagers would bring him food from time to time, and he just stayed in his cave. And so it was sort of a landmark, sort of like a boulder that everybody related to. He was the yogi of the village. So all the villagers, they were shocked one day when they saw him out of his cave and walking through the village. And they said, "Yogi, where are you going?" And the yogi says, I'm gonna go live in the outhouse. The outhouse? What are you gonna go live in the outhouse for? Well, I'm tired of my cave. I'm gonna go live in the outhouse. Besides, it's a good ascetic practice. You gotta understand the outhouses in India are dugouts like 10 or 15 feet deep with a couple of boards on top where you squat on, and they're not very nice places. Anyway, they said, okay. So he left, and he went, sure enough, he went into the outhouse. And a few days later, he cleaned himself up, and he again went through the village. And they say, Yogi, where are you going, Yogi Sab? Where are you going now? And he says, I'm going to go to hell. They said, hell? What are you going to go to hell for? He says, I had enough of the outhouse. I'm going to hell. So he disappears for a day or two. And they say, and then they don't see him for a while. And finally, he emerges. He's walking from the village, walking to the village again, and through the village, and all the people are saying, hey, I thought you went to hell. What happened? Why are you back here? Where are you going? He said, I couldn't get a room in hell. It was full of Gelugpas debating, so I couldn't find a room, no room for me, so I'm going back to live in the outhouse. So he went back to live in the outhouse again. A few days later, he's out of the outhouse. And then he's walking through the village, and they all say, where are you going, Yogi Sab? I thought you were going to live in the outhouse. I had enough of the outhouse. I'm going to heaven. Heaven? You going to heaven? He said, yeah, I'm going to heaven. I'll see you later. So he disappears. And he's gone a few days. And then again he comes back. He's walking through the village. Yogi Sab, what happened? I thought you went to heaven. He said, I went to heaven, but I couldn't get a room. It was full of Nyingmapas, drinking and smoking and having a good time. Tons of women and alcohol. I couldn't get a room there. All the Nyingmapas were partying. So I'm back here. They said, where you going? I'm going to go back to the outhouse. And then, why are you going to go back to the outhouse? And he said, well, it's not so bad. I get to visit all the villagers. And not so lonely as my cave. So that's a little joke.